Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of Indie Book Review, where today I am reviewing Demon Rising by Karma Rose. So there are a lot of words that I can think of to describe this book. Especially if I was just trying to describe it with one word. There are a lot of words that I could think of. But I think the best possible word that I can think of to describe this book is charming. This book is charming in a lot of ways. And a lot of it comes down to the story and the characters. So, what is this book about? Well, Demon Rising is about a guy named Corey. He looks like a demon. He's got red skin, blue lips, horns, wings, tail, the whole 9 yards. He doesn't have hooves for feet though. That is neat. Although there are some serious claws on the ends of his toes and the ends of his fingertips. So, yeah, he looked like a demon. In the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. Just imagine how well that goes down. Here's a hint. It doesn't very well. But it doesn't come without love. His family loves him very much. Well, his parents and his sister. His brothers, not so much. Corey, when you first meet this character, is in a bit of an institution of sorts. He's been kept there for 40 years. The guy is 68 when you first see him on the page. And through small, short flashbacks as he's talking to his therapist, you get to see his childhood, his teenage years, and his early adult years before being taken to whatever science lab that he was taken to. But all in all, there's this one girl, Caitlin, who he talks about a lot. Because she was the first non-family member to show him any sort of real kindness. And she's the only human, the only non-family member human, who actually sees Corey for who he is and is capable of not just looking past the demon exterior, but almost really not seeing it. And that's kind of really nice to see. She's well aware of who and what he is, but she doesn't care. She's known him since she was a little girl, and that's just kind of how it goes. But the childhood stuff is, interesting. Certainly interesting. Does not hold much of a candle to the stuff that happens once Corey is finally released out into the real world. Because, demons got rights. And Corey, at that point, is the only real known living demon. They'd seen a whole bunch of other demons in the 70s, but they seem to have all vanished or died off or whatever, so people just kind of thought Corey was the last one. They anticipated more demons showing up, but nobody really figured they would. At least that's the impression that I got. But let's talk about these characters. So, first off, there's Corey. Corey is probably the most charming character that I have read in a very, very long time. Seriously. He is the prime protagonist. He is what this book is about. And he is very fascinating to read about. And he's such a gentle, kind person. He knows who he is. And he knows what he is. And he does everything that he can to not be a demon. And there are a lot of times where he just wishes that he were human, that he could live a normal life. Corey comes off as very real, despite looking like a demon. He comes off as a very real person, and I really appreciated that. There's a lot of times where you'll see demon characters and they will, they'll look demonic, but they'll have a little bit of a wicked streak to them, or they'll hold humanity as this very toxic sort of thing. Corey comes from a place of real understanding. He knows that they're going to be mean to him because of who and what he is. And in a lot of ways he accepts that. He's not happy about it, but he accepts it for what it is. And in a lot of ways that's almost heartbreaking. Because he's just kind of accepted himself to this harsh fate. And it's just really difficult to get through, not in a and not in the bad way, like in a very very good way. Corey is just this charming, wonderful character that I loved reading about. Then there's Caitlin. Caitlin, I'm not sure about Caitlin. Like, she is very kind to him. She's very wonderful to him. And she kind of keeps him grounded when he's kind of being very down on himself. But I can't help but feel like there's a little something under the surface there. Like there's almost an ulterior motive. And there very well couldn't be, but that's just sort of the impression that I'm getting from her. And it's weird. Because there's literally nothing to show that there should be an ulterior motive. Or that there even is an ulterior motive. There's literally nothing that shows that. It's just an impression that I am getting. It's a suspicion of mine. And the fact that the book that even makes me think about that sort of thing makes me go, love it. Very happy about that. And the third main character is Corey's therapist, Robert. Robert is kind of just a person. He's a normal guy. You know, when you first meet him, he's really not sure about demons. He's not even really sure off the top about Corey until he really gets to start talking to him and gets to see Corey for who he is. And then, before you know it, he really likes the guy. He really likes Corey for who he is. He's willing to go to bat for him. He's willing to go across the country to figure out what's wrong with Corey when things start going bad. It's kind of heartwarming, actually. So, all in all, Demon Rising. What would I rate this? This book is absolutely fantastic. Like, I honestly couldn't put it down. I only really read during my lunch breaks. And I really wished my lunch breaks were longer because I just didn't want to stop reading it. I wanted to continue going on with where Corey was going. And this is the first book of a series. The second book was actually released earlier this year, which I have every intention of picking up because I need to know what happens next. So yeah, Demon Rising, I am going to give this book a straight up 9.5 out of 10. Like, it is absolutely fantastic. The only part that really... the only part that really got to me was one of Corey's personal mannerisms, which is the lack of contractions that he uses. And they call him out on it, too, at one point, when he actually uses one. Which is really nice. I really liked it. But at the same time, a character who doesn't use contractions is just really hard to read sometimes. It's a total stylistic thing. It's a total character quirk. And I get that. I really do. But it was a little difficult at times. And if it continues on in the next book, I won't knock it for it again. It's just kind of a one and done sort of thing for me, but yeah, that's the only real downside, and that's a total nitpick. It's a total nitpick. This book is great, and honestly, the greatest injustice is that this book has been out since 2013. Might have been 2010, might have been 2012. It's really difficult to tell. The original... it says here the original publication date was 2010. So, yeah. I'm gonna go with 2010. Amazon says 2013. But the real injustice with it is it's been out for that long and there are no reviews or ratings for it. And that is a complete and total tragedy. Because people should read this. People should read authors this good and books this good. Because... if we don't, authors this good might stop writing, or they might stop publishing, and that would be awful. I would be very upset. I plan on grabbing book 2, if I can find it, a physical copy of it, so I can go along with this. But if I have to get it on Kindle, because that seems to be the only way that that book 2 is available, is on Kindle by Amazon. If that's how it is, then that's how it is. Nothing I can do about it. But I will be reading that second book because I want to know what happens next. And when you read this book, you will want to know what happens next. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you pick up this book. And yeah, if you want more of my content, I have a second channel now. It is called Writing with Quinn Buckland, and I talk about just writing stuff in general. I talk about my books, my writing processes, and so forth. Check it out. I have a link for it in the description below. Why do I always want to say comments? It's the description. But yeah, check it out. Check this book out. It's good times all around. Have a good one, folks.